The question that changes everything. Let me ask you something that might shake you to your core. What if I told you that the difference between the life you're living right now and the life you've always dreamed of isn't some massive, earth-shattering transformation? What if I told you it's not about waiting for that perfect moment, that perfect opportunity, or that perfect version of yourself? What if the secret to everything you've ever wanted lies in something so simple, so accessible, that you could start it right now in this very moment? You see, we've been lied to. We've been sold this Hollywood version of success where everything changes overnight, where someone gets discovered, where lightning strikes, where suddenly everything falls into place. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Real power, lasting power, life-changing power comes from the compound effect of small wins, accumulated daily. The science of momentum. Picture a massive freight train sitting motionless on the tracks. To get that train moving just 1 mile per hour requires enormous energy. But once it's moving, once it has momentum, that same train can pull 1,000 tons of cargo at 60 miles per hour with less effort than it took to get it started. Your life works exactly the same way. Right now, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like nothing you do matters, if you're overwhelmed by the gap between where you are and where you want to be, you're like that motionless train. But here's what changes everything. You don't need to become a different person overnight. You just need to move 1 inch forward. 1 single inch. The 1% revolution. Let me tell you about a concept that will revolutionize how you think about progress. If you improve just 1% every single day for 1 year, you won't just be 365% better. You'll be 3,778% better. That's not addition. That's multiplication. That's the power of compound growth. But here's what most people do. They try to improve 100% in 1 day, fail spectacularly, and then give up entirely. They're looking for the magic pill, the secret formula, the overnight transformation. And while they're waiting for their ship to come in, life is passing them by. The people who understand small wins, they're not waiting, they're building. Every single day. Your current reality check. Let me get real with you for a moment. Where are you right now? Are you scrolling through social media, comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel? Are you lying in bed, knowing you should be working toward your goals but feeling paralyzed by how big they seem? Are you making excuses about why today isn't the right day to start? I've been there. We've all been there. That voice in your head that says, "What's the point? One small action won't change anything." That voice is not your friend. That voice is not protecting you. That voice is the enemy of your potential. Here's what that voice doesn't want you to know. Every empire was built 1 brick at a time. Every masterpiece was created 1 brushstroke at a time. Every fortune was earned $1 at a time. And every dream was achieved 1 small win at a time. The neuroscience of small wins. Your brain is literally rewiring itself based on what you do consistently. Every time you follow through on a small commitment to yourself, you're strengthening the neural pathways associated with self-discipline, confidence, and success. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you're reinforcing patterns of self-doubt and failure. But here's the beautiful part about small wins. They're designed for success. When you achieve something small, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that creates addiction. But instead of being addicted to something that destroys you, you become addicted to progress, addicted to growth, addicted to becoming the person you're meant to be. The compound effect in action. Let me paint you a picture. 2 people decide they want to get in shape. Person A joins a gym, buys all the supplements, commits to working out 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. Person B decides to do 10 push-ups every morning. After 1 week, Person A has either burned out completely or is so sore they can barely move. Person B has done 70 push-ups and feels great about their consistency. After 1 month, Person A has likely quit entirely, feeling like a failure. Person B has done over 300 push-ups, has built a habit, and is probably doing 15 or 20 push-ups by now because it feels so natural. After 1 year, Person A is back where they started, maybe even worse off because they've reinforced their belief that they can't stick to anything. Person B has transformed their body, their mindset, and their entire relationship with discipline and commitment. That's the power of small wins. The identity shift. Here's something most people don't understand about change. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. If you see yourself as someone who doesn't follow through, you won't follow through. If you see yourself as someone who quits, you'll quit. But if you see yourself as someone who keeps commitments, who shows up consistently, who builds momentum daily, that's exactly who you'll become. Every small win is a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you do what you said you'd do, even when it's small, even when it seems insignificant, you're casting a vote for your future self. And here's the thing about votes. The candidate with the most votes wins. So the question is, are you voting for the person you want to become? Or are you voting for the person you've always been? The stories that shape us, let me tell you about Maria. Maria worked a dead-end job she hated, was 50 pounds overweight, and felt like her dreams of starting her own business were just fantasies. She tried everything: crash diets, get-rich-quick schemes, massive life overhauls that lasted exactly 3 days. Then she discovered small wins. She started with one thing: writing down 3 things she was grateful for every morning. That's it. Just 3 things. After a week, she added 5 minutes of walking during her lunch break. After 2 weeks, she started reading 1 page of a business book before bed. After a month, she was writing in a gratitude journal, walking 20 minutes daily, and had finished her first business book in years. 6 months later, she had lost 30 pounds, started a side business that was generating income, and completely transformed her mindset about what was possible. 2 years later, she had quit her job, was running a 6-figure business, had lost all the weight, and had become the person she never thought she could be. Not through some miraculous transformation, not through some secret formula, through the compound power of small wins, built daily without exception. But Maria's story isn't unique. Let me tell you about David, a college dropout who felt like a failure at 25. He was living with his parents, had no job prospects, and spent his days playing video games and feeling sorry for himself. His family had given up on him. He'd given up on himself. Then David made one decision. He would learn one new programming concept every day. Not build an entire app. Not master coding in 30 days. Just one concept. Sometimes it was understanding what a variable was. Sometimes it was learning about loops. Some days, when he was really struggling, it was just reading 1 paragraph about programming. The first week was brutal. He wanted to quit every day, but he kept his commitment to himself. 1 concept per day. After a month, he started building tiny programs. After 3 months, he was working on small projects. After 6 months, he had built his first complete application. 1 year later, David got his first junior developer job. 2 years later, he was a senior developer. 3 years later, he started his own software consulting company. Today, David employs 12 people and generates 7 figures annually. All because he understood that you don't have to change everything at once. You just have to change something every day. And then there's Jennifer, a single mother of 2 who felt trapped by her circumstances. She worked 2 part-time jobs, barely made ends meet, and felt like she was failing her children. She dreamed of getting her college degree but couldn't see how it was possible with her schedule and financial situation. Jennifer's small win? She decided to spend 15 minutes every evening learning something new. Sometimes it was watching an educational YouTube video. Sometimes it was reading an article. Sometimes it was practicing basic math skills she'd forgotten. Those 15 minutes became 30, then an hour. Jennifer discovered online courses and started taking 1 class at a time. It took her 6 years, but she earned her bachelor's degree while working full-time and raising her children. Today, Jennifer is a project manager at a Fortune 500 company, owns her own home, and has created a college fund for both of her children. More importantly, she's shown her kids that obstacles are not excuses, and that consistent effort over time can overcome any circumstance. These aren't fairy tales. These are real people who understood a fundamental truth. You don't need permission to start improving your life. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need more time, more money, or more resources. You just need to start, and you need to start small. The psychology of breakthrough, there's something fascinating that happens in the human mind when we commit to small wins. Psychologists call it progressive mastery, but I call it the breakthrough effect. When you prove to yourself that you can be consistent with small things, Your brain starts to believe you can be consistent with bigger things. It's like teaching a child to ride a bicycle. You don't start them on a motorcycle. You start with training. Wheels, then you hold the back of the bike, then you let go for just a second, then a little longer until suddenly they're riding on their own. Your confidence in yourself works the same way. Every small win is like adding a single degree of heat to water. At 99 degrees, water is still just hot water. But at 100 degrees, it becomes steam, and steam can power a locomotive. Your small wins might feel insignificant at 99 degrees, but that one additional degree, that one more small win, can transform everything. The 4 pillars of unstoppable momentum. After studying thousands of success stories, I've identified 4 fundamental pillars that separate people who build lasting momentum from those who get stuck in cycles of starting and stopping. Pillar 1. Micro-commitments. The most successful people make commitments so small they're almost embarrassing. Want to start exercising? Commit to putting on your workout clothes every morning. That's it. Don't commit to working out for an hour. Just commit to putting on the clothes. Want to start writing a book? Commit to opening a document and writing 1 sentence every day. Not a page, not a chapter. 1 sentence. Want to improve your relationships? Commit to sending 1 text of appreciation to someone you care about every day. Not a long conversation. Not planning elaborate dates. 1 text. These micro-commitments work because they eliminate the friction between intention and action. They're so small that motivation becomes irrelevant. You don't need to feel inspired to put on workout clothes. You don't need to be in the mood to write 1 sentence. Pillar 2. Identity-based change. Most people try to change their actions without changing their identity. They say, I want to lose weight, while still seeing themselves as someone who doesn't exercise. They say, I want to be successful, while still seeing themselves as someone who gives up. But here's the secret. You have to become the person first, then the results follow. Every small win is an opportunity to cast a vote for your new identity. When you write that 1 sentence, you're not just completing a task. You're becoming a writer. When you put on those workout clothes, you're not just getting dressed. You're becoming someone who prioritizes fitness. Pillar 3. Environment design. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. If you rely on motivation and discipline to maintain your small wins, you'll eventually fail. But if you design your environment to make small wins easier and bad habits harder, success becomes inevitable. Want to read more? Put a book on your pillow so you see it when you go to bed. Want to exercise in the morning? Put your workout clothes next to your bed. Want to eat healthier? Put healthy snacks at eye level in your refrigerator and hide the junk food. The people who sustain long-term change don't have more willpower. They have better systems. Pillar 4. Progress tracking. What gets measured gets improved. But most people track the wrong things. They track outcomes instead of inputs. They track their weight instead of their workouts. They track their income instead of their daily productive actions. Track your small wins, not your big goals. Create a simple system where you can mark off each small win as you complete it. This serves 2 purposes. It gives you immediate satisfaction, and it creates visual proof of your consistency. The momentum equation. Here's the mathematical formula for building unstoppable momentum. Small action plus consistency plus time equals massive results, but most people try to manipulate the wrong variable. They try to make the action bigger, thinking that will speed up the results. But that usually destroys consistency, which kills the entire equation. The real leverage is in consistency. A small action done consistently for a long time will always beat a big action done sporadically. Think about it this way. Would you rather have $1 million right now, or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days? Most people would take the million, but the penny that doubles becomes $5.3 million by day 30. That's the power of consistency and compound growth. The seasons of small wins. Your journey with small wins will go through distinct seasons, and understanding these seasons will help you stay committed when things get challenging. Season 1, the honeymoon, days 1 to 7, everything feels exciting and new. You're motivated, optimistic, and can't wait to see results. This is the easiest phase, but also the most dangerous because you might be tempted to do too much too soon. Season 2, the struggle, days 8 to 21, the novelty wears off. You don't see dramatic results yet. This is where most people quit. Your brain will tell you it's not working, that you should try something else, that small wins are stupid. This is the most critical phase, push through. Season 3. The integration, days 22 to 66. Your small wins start becoming automatic. You don't have to think about them as much. You might not feel dramatically different, but others start noticing changes in you. This is where habits form. Season 4. The breakthrough, days 67 plus. Suddenly, everything accelerates. The compound effect kicks in. People ask what you're doing differently. You realize you've become a different person. This is where the magic happens. Understanding these seasons helps you stay committed during Season 2, when quitting feels logical but perseverance creates breakthroughs. Let me warn you about something. The moment you start building momentum through small wins, resistance will show up. It will show up as that voice telling you it's not enough. It's not fast enough. It's not impressive enough. Resistance will show up as the people around you who are threatened by your growth, who want to pull you back down to their level of comfort and mediocrity. Resistance will show up as the temptation to skip just one day, because it's such a small thing that it won't matter. But here's what you need to understand. Resistance is afraid of small wins because it knows what they lead to. Resistance knows that the person who can be trusted with small things will eventually be trusted with big things. The daily rituals of champions. Let me share with you the specific daily rituals that separate champions from everyone else. These aren't complex systems or time-consuming routines. They're simple, small wins that compound into extraordinary results. The morning small win champions start their day with a small win before they check their phone, before they talk to anyone, before the world can influence their energy. It might be making their bed with military precision. It might be writing down 3 priorities for the day. It might be doing 50 jumping jacks. The specific action matters less than the commitment to starting each day with momentum. The learning small win champions commit to growing their mind daily, not through hours of study, but through small, consistent learning actions. Reading 1 page of a book, listening to 1 podcast episode during commute, watching 1 educational video, learning 1 new word. The compound effect of daily learning creates wisdom, opportunities, and competitive advantages that others can't match. The health small win champions understand that their body is the vehicle for their dreams. They don't necessarily work out for hours, but they do something for their health every single day. It might be drinking an extra glass of water, taking a 5-minute walk, doing 10 push-ups, eating 1 healthy snack. These small wins compound into energy, longevity, and confidence. The connection small win champions invest in relationships daily. They understand that success is never a solo journey. 1 appreciation text, 1 genuine compliment, 1 act of service, 1 moment of undivided attention. These small wins compound into a network of people who want to support their success. The evening small win champions end their day by acknowledging progress. Not perfection, but progress. They might journal 3 things they're grateful for. They might review their small wins for the day. They might set their intentions for tomorrow. This small win compounds into self-awareness, optimism, and continuous improvement. The mathematics of momentum. Let me show you the exact mathematics of how small wins create massive results. The 1% rule. If you improve 1% every day for a year, you'll be 37 times better by the end of the year. Not 37% better, 3,700% better. That's not addition. That's exponential growth. The compound effect. A small improvement, compounded daily, creates results that seem impossible. Reading 10 pages a day equals 3,650 pages per year, about 12 to 15 books. Walking 10 minutes daily equals 60 plus hours of walking per year. Saving $5 daily equals $1,825 saved per year. The momentum multiplier. As your small wins compound, they don't just add to each other. They multiply each other. The confidence from keeping commitments multiplies your willingness to take risks. The energy from better health multiplies your productivity. The knowledge from daily learning multiplies your opportunities. This is why small wins aren't actually small. They're the foundation of exponential growth. The emergency protocol: what happens when life gets chaotic? When you're traveling, sick, overwhelmed, or facing unexpected challenges. This is when most people abandon their small wins, thinking they're not important enough to maintain during difficult times. But champions understand that difficult times are when small wins matter most. When everything else is uncertain, your small wins become your anchor. When you can't control external circumstances, you can control your commitment to small, daily actions. The emergency protocol is simple. When life gets chaotic, reduce your small wins but never eliminate them. If you normally read 10 pages, read 1 page. If you normally exercise for 20 minutes, do 2 minutes. If you normally write 500 words, write 50 words. The goal isn't to maintain your normal routine during emergencies. The goal is to maintain your identity as someone who keeps commitments to themselves, no matter what. This is how you build unshakable confidence and unstoppable momentum. The breakthrough indicators: how do you know when your small wins are working? Here are the specific indicators that your momentum is building. Internal indicators. You stop negotiating with yourself about whether to do your small wins. You feel uncomfortable when you can't complete your small wins. You automatically look for ways to improve your small wins. You start seeing opportunities everywhere. You feel capable of achieving bigger goals. External indicators. People start asking what you're doing differently. Opportunities begin appearing in your life. Your performance improves in multiple areas simultaneously. You attract people who are also committed to growth. Others start seeking your advice and guidance. These indicators usually appear between 30 to 90 days of consistent small wins. They're proof that your identity is shifting from someone who tries to change to someone who creates consistent change. The multiplication effect: here's where small wins become truly powerful. As you master the art of small wins in one area of your life, that skill transfers to every other area. The discipline you develop through daily reading improves your fitness routine. The consistency you build through morning habits improves your work performance. The confidence you gain through keeping small commitments improves your relationships. This is called the multiplication effect, and it's why successful people seem to succeed in multiple areas simultaneously. They're not necessarily more talented or lucky. They've mastered the fundamental skill of building momentum through small wins, and that skill applies to everything. The ultimate small win strategy: if you only remember one thing from this entire message, let it be this. The ultimate small win strategy is to choose one small action that you can do every day for the rest of your life, regardless of circumstances, and commit to doing it with absolute consistency. Not sometimes. Not when you feel like it. Not when it's convenient. Every single day. This might be the most challenging commitment you ever make, because it requires you to prioritize long-term transformation over short-term comfort. It requires you to value consistency over intensity. It requires you to believe that small actions, compounded over time, can create miraculous results. But when you make this commitment and keep it, everything changes. You don't just achieve your goals, you become the kind of person who achieves goals. You don't just create success. You become the kind of person who creates success consistently. You become unstoppable. So how do you harness this power? How do you start building unstoppable momentum in your life right now? Step 1. Choose your keystone win. Pick one small action that, if you did it consistently, would have a positive ripple effect in your life. Maybe it's making your bed every morning. Maybe it's reading for 10 minutes. Maybe it's writing down your top 3 priorities for the day. Choose something so small that you can't fail, so easy that you'd be embarrassed not to do it. Step 2. Stack your success. Once your first small win becomes automatic, and it will, usually within 2 to 3 weeks, add another small win to it. Don't replace it, add to it. This is called habit stacking, and it's how you build momentum without overwhelming yourself. Step 3. Track your wins. What gets measured gets managed. Keep a simple record of your small wins. Check them off. Celebrate them. Your brain needs to see the progress to stay motivated. Step 4. Protect your streaks. There will be days when you don't feel like it. These are the most important days. These are the days that separate the people who transform their lives from the people who stay stuck. Never break the chain of your small wins, no matter how you feel. Step 5. Scale gradually. As your small wins become effortless, gradually increase them. 10 push-ups becomes 15. 5 minutes of reading becomes 10. 1 page of writing becomes 2. Always stay within your capacity for consistency. The ripple effect. Here's what happens when you commit to small wins. They don't stay small. That 10-minute morning walk turns into a love for fitness. Those 3 pages of reading become a passion for learning. That one small business action becomes an empire. But more importantly, you become someone different. You become someone who keeps commitments. Someone who shows up. Someone who builds instead of dreams. Someone who creates instead of consumes. And when you change, everything around you changes. Your relationships improve because you become more reliable. Your career advances because you become more disciplined. Your health improves because you become more consistent. Your finances improve because you become more focused. Small wins create big people, and big people create big results. The time factor. But this will take forever. I hear you saying. Let me ask you something. How long have you been waiting for the perfect moment to start? How many years have you spent wishing things were different without doing anything different? Time is going to pass anyway. The question is, do you want to look back 1 year from now and be in exactly the same place you are today? Or do you want to look back and be amazed at how far you've come through the power of small, consistent actions? The person who starts today with small wins will be unrecognizable in a year. The person who waits for the perfect moment will still be waiting. Your moment of truth, this is your moment. Right here, right now. Not tomorrow. Not next Monday. Not next month when you have more time, more money, more motivation. Now, what is the smallest possible step you could take toward the life you want? What is something so simple, so achievable, that you could do it in the next 5 minutes? That's your starting point. That's your first small win. And here's what I want you to understand. That small action, that seemingly insignificant step, could be the moment everything changes. Not because it's a big step, but because it's the first step. And first steps have the power to become journeys, and journeys have the power to become destinies. The compound power of today. Every day you wake up with a choice. You can choose to be the same person you were yesterday, or you can choose to be slightly better. Just slightly. Just 1%. Most people underestimate what they can accomplish in a year and overestimate what they can accomplish in a day. But you're not most people. You understand that real power comes from consistency, not intensity. You understand that small wins compound into massive results. You understand that the person who can be disciplined in small things will eventually be disciplined in big things. The person who can be trusted with a little will eventually be trusted with a lot. The vision of your future self. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the person you'll become if you commit to small wins starting today. See that person 1 year from now. What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? What have they accomplished? What habits do they have? What kind of life have they built? Now imagine meeting that person. What would they tell you about the journey? What would they say about the power of starting small? What would they tell you about the importance of this moment right now? They would tell you that everything good in their life started with a decision to stop waiting and start building. They would tell you that the hardest part wasn't maintaining the momentum. It was taking the first step. They would tell you that they're not smarter than you, not more talented than you, not luckier than you. They just understood something that most people never learn. Success is not about giant leaps. It's about consistent steps in the right direction. The daily revolution starting tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up different. Not because everything in your life has changed, but because your approach to change has been revolutionized. Instead of looking at the mountain you have to climb, you're going to focus on the next step. Instead of being paralyzed by how far you have to go, you're going to be energized by how far you've come. Instead of waiting for motivation, you're going to create momentum. Every morning, you're going to ask yourself one question. What small win can I achieve today that will move me closer to who I want to become? And then you're going to do it. Not because you feel like it. Not because it's easy. Not because you can see how it connects to your big goals. You're going to do it because you're committed to the process of becoming the person who does what they say they'll do. The ripples you'll create. Here's something beautiful about committing to small wins. It's contagious. When people see you consistently showing up, consistently improving, consistently building momentum, they get inspired. They start asking what you're doing differently. They start implementing small wins in their own lives. You become a living example of what's possible when someone stops making excuses and starts making progress. You become proof that ordinary people can create extraordinary results through the power of small, consistent actions. Your transformation gives others permission to transform. Your consistency gives others courage to be consistent. Your small wins inspire others to start their own journey of daily improvement. The legacy of small wins years from now, when people ask you how you built the life you have, how you became the person you are, how you achieved what seemed impossible, you'll have a different answer than most successful people. You won't talk about the one big break, the perfect opportunity, or the moment everything changed. You'll talk about the power of small wins. You'll talk about the decision to stop waiting and start building. You'll talk about how the most important day was the day you started, and the most important win was your first small win. And maybe, just maybe, you'll inspire someone else to stop waiting for their perfect moment and start creating their momentum, one small win at a time. Your starting line, this is where your story changes. Not at the finish line of some massive goal, but right here at the starting line of small, consistent action. The person you're going to become is waiting for you to take the first step. Your future self is counting on you to stop overthinking and start building. The life you've always wanted is on the other side of the small win you're going to achieve today. So here's my challenge to you. Before you go to bed tonight, achieve one small win. Read one page. Do 10 push-ups. Write one paragraph. Make one important phone call. Clean one small area of your space. Express gratitude for one thing in your life. It doesn't matter what it is. It matters that you do it. It matters that you start. It matters that you take the first step in your journey of daily momentum building. Because tomorrow, when you wake up, you won't just be someone who watched a motivational video. You'll be someone who took action. You'll be someone who started. You'll be someone who has momentum. And momentum, once started, has a tendency to keep building. The power is in your hands. The time is now. Your small wins await. Start today. Start small. Start building the unstoppable momentum that will carry you toward the life you've always dreamed of. Your future self is counting on it. Remember, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. Your first small win is waiting. Go claim it.